Sense Kakyo. How's everybody doing? It's Thursday Night Live with Tricksters Comedy. What's up, fellas?
Hey, how's it going? That fucking intro, man.
I feel like
I
I just
love
want
that
to start
intro.
screaming and yelling and throwing crap around my house.
Right? Right? Just ready to start
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah,
Let's do this. Oh.
How do we come out after that?
I don't know. How are you, man?
Yeah, just feeling all hyped. Just bro, my fucking blood pressure, man. It's right up there right now, bro.
I know, I love it. Well,
I
here's
just
the problem. Here's the problem. It's been 2 weeks in a row that we've had to take a short hiatus from the Thursday Night Live with Tricksters Comedy. So all of this angst has built up over the past 2 weeks, and here we are ready to bring it back.
Oh,
Right?
I was looking forward to it. I was looking forward to it today. I tell you, all day I was telling people, you got to go check out my Tricksters Facebook. You got to go check it out because we're going to be going live tonight. Hop on there. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things, especially the day after Valentine's Day. If you don't have anything to do, bring your date. Right? If you went on a shitty date last night, bring your date and come and watch Tricksters. If you didn't go on a date at all, bring your date, come and watch Tricksters. Or if you went on a really good date and don't realize how freaking epic we are, bring them for an even better date, right? To spice up that love life, you got to watch Tricksters.
Yeah, that's right. And if you guys aren't quite, if you're just K-Gats, if you're K-Gats, you're not quite in a relationship yet, and you didn't do Valentine's Day yesterday, you can watch Tricksters Comedy on Thursday, and it's almost the same, but not quite. Just K-Gats.
Or you could bring your kimooch. Hey.
You could bring your kimooch as well. Hey, I got a question for you, Corey. I got one question for you, Corey.
Yeah.
Who's the Munyao?
Man, we got to introduce the one, the only Sean Dean. Everybody.
Put the lighting in here.
It
really highlights the whiteness.
Kayas, hey, brother. Kayas, it's been a long time. I haven't seen you since way back in the Bionic Bannock boys days. How have you been, man?
Really good, man. Thanks for having me on. I feel like a special guest. I'm very special today to be with you guys. So,
you know what happened?
It's a very special night.
You know what happened to me today? So I was getting a haircut, right? So I went to go get a haircut, and I was driving through town, right? And as I'm driving through town, a bus pulls up beside me, and whose big old face is on that bus? Sean, right there.
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You made it big when you're on a bus.
Oh, he's a corporate rap. He's a corporate
rap.
I
got the rap. I got the full rap.
Right on.
Jen is on there more than me, but yeah.
That's a good sign. You know why? Because HR can't fire you. And if they do, they'll have to go back and rebrand everything.
That's like job security. Once you get on billboards and stuff like that, then they can't get rid of you so easy.
Yeah, exactly.
See, like Sean's face was kind of obscured from like the windows and stuff like that. You could see Jen really clearly, but you know, Sean, I'm like I could tell Sean by his chin, right? So that's why I was like, hey, there's Sean right there. I know that chin, I might not be able to see the rest of his face.
Your mouth is the window.
I got a question for both of you. Yesterday was the big day. What did y'all do? That's what they say down south. What did y'all do for Valentine's Day? Anything?
So Jen and I do a radio show in Regina, jack945.com. You can go there. You can listen live every day.
Oh, you can rep it better than that. You got to say,
Jack 94.5. Listen live. No,
we got this guy on our podcast, man. We're good to go.
Yeah, so we go every day, Monday to Friday, and then on the weekends our show plays. But usually for Valentine's Day, I'm not going to lie to you, we usually don't do anything on February 14th because everything's more expensive. The restaurants are packed, flowers overpriced. So we made a deal years ago. We said, tell you what, one day in February, you have to do something, surprise me. And then one day in February, I have to do something and surprise her. So that's kind of what we did. But last night was cool. We got to host the Winnipeg Comedy Festival, comedians at Casino Regina Show Lounge last night. And
cool.
Yeah, so that was really cool. We got to intro them. Jen had some jokes, and she's like, I think I want to do stand-up comedy. I'm like, okay. She talked about her uterus falling out. She talked about having 3 kids pop out. Yeah, Jen did that? Really good comedians too at the Show Lounge last night. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's what we did. And then we came home, and instead of making out, we stopped at McDonald's. and we got
Hey.
some fries, and then you know you're not going to make out of that because you're too bloaty and farty after a McRib. So you just Netflix without the chill. That's
That's adult love right there.
yeah,
You're
adult
married.
love.
You're
This
married,
is what
correct?
we come to.
You're married, correct, Sean?
Yep. Yeah, been
Yes,
married
yes,
for I don't know
yes,
how
for
many
sure.
years.
Yes, yes, that's
Yeah.
definitely a married Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah. You can see I'm in my wife's office, so it's got all the flowery stuff in here. You know,
And it's clean. It seems it looks clean
yeah. There's like a
and
bulletin board
organized.
back here, and I was like moving plants. Don't touch my office. It's like,
Oh, you
yeah,
better
I
not. You
won't.
better not.
I won't. I won't. I'm domesticated.
Yeah. You know what you need? You need Corey to get over there with one of his Treaty 4 flags and maybe get it in the background. Perhaps over that door or
Yeah,
over in the corner or something.
it would make nice.
I think if you put it in between the shelving and the door, you know what I mean? So you get a nice, good, clear shot of it, right?
Yeah.
Put
Yeah,
some
yeah.
Big flag in the
put some
window.
track lighting behind there. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Metallica on one side, the big black carpets. Remember those things?
Yeah, Metallica. Yeah.
Motley Crue. You know?
Yeah, man. Or in the summer when they have those stands set up, like they're kind of like they set up at Powell's, but they just set up
Yeah.
at like random mall parking lots.
Yeah, just
And
flags.
you could buy a flag of like a NASCAR or like Elvis.
Man, I was always after those mirrors.
Yeah, I know.
Remember those mirrors, like with the band name on there, and
Yeah. Air
Yeah.
Supply. I had a killer Air Supply one that I won from the Buffalo days here in Regina with the game with the darts.
Nice.
Right? And there's like big balloons, right? So like you can't there's no way that you can lose in that unless you really suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually had a AC/DC one, and I had a Guns N' Roses one.
Oh, you were a rocker.
Yeah, man. I meant to collect more, right? But I sucked.
Did you guys
Sean,
I kept missing the fucking balloons. That's what happened. These balloons.
How do you miss?
You gotta be a shitty athlete to
You
not
know,
hit
I would
balloons, bro.
throw, right? And as it's going, a gust of wind would pick up, and you know, like it's always something. Always something. It was never me.
Black t-shirts, Corey. It was
was
the
never
black
me and my-
t-shirts with the white sleeves that only came to about halfway down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rat or wasp.
Yeah, Rat
Yeah,
and
Wasp.
Wasp were real popular ones. Maybe a Motley Crue one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was never into those ones like Poison, right?
Yeah.
Poison.
Yeah, no, but the rock shirts with the baseball, right? Like
Yeah. Like
three-quarter
halfway.
length. Yeah, those
Yeah,
were awesome,
Yeah,
man.
the baseball cuts and the baseball cuts would come to like there, right? And then you're walking around, you know, thinking you're Axl Rose or something like that, right?
Oh, not now though. Have you seen that guy lately?
No.
Like the last-
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
actually seen them in concert when they were in Regina. I got to go check them out, and yeah, he's a big dude. But he's still running around the stage, right? He's still doing his thing, and so you know, he's still screaming around and that sort of thing. Like you could just tell that the guy's voice must have been just absolutely horrendous later on that night, right? Because he's like what 60 doing that.
Well, you know, at that point, like, can they not? Like, I'm sure they're not there to really hear him sing, right? Like they could like probably have him produce maybe not the exact same one that's on the album because everyone would recognize that, but you know, maybe re-sing it and produce it and then lip sync to that. Because then I think that's probably the kind of the best of both worlds for someone like that, right? Because he's probably not going to. Yeah, because the talent it probably isn't quite there at like it was when he was back in his day, but he still is him, right?
Yeah, well, you can check it off your bucket list, man. I saw GNR, you know.
Yeah.
Like the Super Bowl. They're not really singing, you know.
The Super Bowl. Let's hear about what okay, here's the big thing that people are starting to say. People are saying that like, okay, it was an awesome game with an incredible finish. Maybe a little too incredible and maybe a little too awesome. Did it really happen or was it rigged?
You know, I'm reading a lot on both sides of that fence. I'm reading a lot on both sides of the fence, especially on social media, right? And then people are really analyzing videos and like you could see here that, you know, he had the opportunity, but he didn't take it. And it's like, okay,
no,
well, like, man, I don't know. I've never been
crap. This is like, did they fake the moon landing? Come on.
Yeah.
Well, of course, everybody knows they did.
I had a funny guy tell me one time. He said, "Really? Then, if they didn't fake the moon landing, who was on the moon taking the video while they left? Tell me that one." And I was like, "I don't know." Like,
right? It's always the camera guy.
left the camera, I guess. Or a guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like man versus nature. Bear Grylls is like, oh, we're having a hell of a time. I'm like, your camera guy is
Yeah.
probably having a worse time,
I
you
have
know,
no idea.
or it's completely set up, right?
Yes. Oh well. Oh
Suffering
well.
in the wilderness with a whole camera crew. Okay, yeah, sure. Can you
But you know
imagine the
what?
O&M insurance on that film shoot, man?
For
It'd,
sure.
it'd be so high, be so
Very
high.
high.
But you
Very
know
high.
there's so much buzz about what's her face showing up at all the games,
Oh,
right?
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift. So much like a lot of pissed off people. But you know what? Like, come on. If you were the owner of that football team, like, would you not be like sending her a ride to pick her up every
I
game? And
wouldn't.
Oh, dude, I'd be like giving her free stuff, like all the free stuff. Like, here's a flag for your limo, fly it outside your limo ride. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like all the free stuff. Like I'd be totally exploiting that. You
Okay,
know what I
for
mean? Because
sure.
it's Taylor Swift.
can
She's
you
got like,
imagine Corey? We just move him over a little bit, and then a new window pops up, and Taylor Swift is here tonight.
well,
I
well,
would that be hilarious?
well,
Welcome.
we originally were
Wouldn't you
supposed to
know?
have Taylor Swift, right?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
But
was the
she
but
backup.
canceled.
she canceled. She's still having a good old time after the Super
Yeah, no,
Bowl,
she
and
said she had to get
and
she
we
said she had to get her
we have to go
headlights
with the
fixed on her
backup
truck or
plan.
something.
Yeah, I'm good enough.
She's
Good
lying.
enough.
She's
Good
lying.
enough.
And then that one couldn't make it. Jen couldn't be with us, so we had to go with the backup to that
Then it's
backup plan.
me. Yeah, I know this.
The backup
I
plan.
know this. Rick. I know who the star of our show is.
The B
Trust me,
team.
not me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the B team.
The B team. Hey, no, Keon. Where's Keon? You couldn't make it tonight?
What the hell is up with that?
I know, like as we're jumping online, hey bros, can't make it. I'm like, bro, I'm literally
I
like
get it though.
about to hit login, but
Yeah,
he's
Things
with us
happen,
in
man.
spirit.
it
He's with
happens,
us
man.
in
Yeah, it's
spirit.
happened to me and it's happened to Sean.
Yep.
It'll happen to Corey sooner or later too. I bet.
No,
But just
no,
up to
not
now, it has not been. He's been Iron Man so far.
not me, not me.
What kind of shirt are you wearing?
I'm 100% committed. I'm wearing a Honor the Treaties T-shirt. It you order it from what the hell is it called now? I think it was Obey,
Cool. You know what I thought it
that
said?
clothing
I thought
brand.
I thought it said something about a Don Air. I was saying which Don Air restaurant are we supporting and promoting
Yeah.
today?
I
Oh,
haven't had
Honor.
supper yet. I'm hungry.
Okay, well, what is a Don Air?
Well, donair is just like a shawarma, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
what's a shawarma? Is it a burrito
It's
with a?
it's
Kind of like a
it's
sub for
basically
Subway.
it's basically Arab burrito.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It comes from the
It's
Middle
like
East.
high class.
It is actually really good. One of my most favorite little hole in the walls in all of Regina is called Amato's Pizza,
Oh,
or I mean Amato's Pita, not pizza.
Pita.
Amato's Pita,
Pita.
and it's
There we go.
basically a bakery. It's a big pita bakery. They bake the pitas for I think everywhere in the city,
It's like a
right?
big Bannock.
But yeah, so it's like a pita bread, right? Where it's like a pocket and that sort of thing. And they serve the best shawarma out of there. And there's a little granny that works there. There's a grandmother that works there. And I love when she's
For
working
sure.
there because when I go there, right, she'll actually be like, "Oh, I know what you're gonna have here. You have this. Make sure you have this. This goes with this. Oh, you cannot have this without this." Like just tells me what I'm gonna eat. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I show up and there's a menu, but she's like, "No, here's what you're gonna
Yeah.
have."
How
And it's
grandma
like,
is that, right?
yeah, that's
Totally.
totally, yeah. And then oh, you gotta have some dessert. It's like, okay,
Right. No, that's the cool thing about those pitas, right? Because nowadays it's mostly wraps and
yeah,
burritos. But
yeah,
with the pitas, like they open them up and they put the stuff right in there, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Which reminds me, like you guys are old, like I am. Do you guys remember when Subway used to make their sandwiches? Like instead of cutting it across, they hollow it out. They would
Yeah, the
hollow
top.
it.
They rip the top
Yeah.
off, put the toppings
Yes.
in, and then make a
Yeah.
little. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
was that Subway? Subway did that.
It was Subway, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they
Yeah.
would cut a little. They would cut like a little rectangle, pull it out, and then shove all your stuff in there, and then
Yeah.
put it back on. That was kind of their gimmick. So
Yeah,
I
West
bet,
Village.
yeah. But I bet you a lot of the people nowadays don't remember that. Like that's probably an old guy thing, I would think.
Does Subway not do that? That's how long I haven't been at Subway. They cut right down the middle.
Yeah, they just do old style,
Oh,
Mr. Sub
old
now.
style?
Yeah, they just do they just do regular style now. Just like
Ah,
they just do missionary.
it's just missionary stuff. Yeah, nothing too fancy.
Yeah,
We got
nothing too fancy
Tyson.
anywhere.
So we got Tyson in the comments saying, but you can get chicken and beef too instead of you're not into lamb. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's right. So like, okay, which one are you? Are you a chicken dude? Are you a lamb dude?
I'm
Or
the
are
guy
you a
who likes
beef?
where they have the stick in the back and they just carve the meat off, whatever that is.
Yeah,
Is that the
yeah,
Yeah,
lamb?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically this great big slab of meat just rotisserie,
right. And
right?
they just
And as it cooks, they just shave it off. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
I
yeah.
do it. I think of like Silence of the Lambs or something. I'm like, something is wrong here. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
like the cereal
What is
choice,
that?
the food. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's good though.
What is that? I want all of
I want
that.
it. I want to shave it.
Yeah,
Shave it.
totally.
Put it on.
Yeah, I want you to shave that carcass spinning around on that skewer. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I've
put it
never
in there.
seen
Put it
meat
in
cut
there.
perfectly
Yeah.
round before and big. Like I don't know what it is.
So
Did I
good though.
tell you to stop? Keep going. Keep shaving.
So good.
More.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
it's such a guilty pleasure, you know. And then and like you get those like beet pickles, like those Arab
Mm.
style beet pickles, not like the North American ones that turn your teeth purple, but like the actual Arab ones where
Yeah.
it's sweet. It's really good, dude. I it's like one of my favorite go-to places. Little hole in the wall, you know. When what
Those
because
are the
I
best
often
places.
because I often go to Regina to work, right? So
You know another place
when
you should check out is called Prairie Donair. I think it's
Yes.
on like Broad
been
Street.
there.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you go back
Yeah.
there and they like we ordered like I ordered a large meal the first time, not
Yes.
knowing. Like that was like 2 meals in one.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
cutting the meat and like, do you want sauce? Yeah, tzatziki. Bam!
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, it was
Yes.
so good. Anyway, sorry,
Huge
I know we're
shout
on
out
that.
to Prairie Dawn Air. Huge
Yeah.
shout out to Prairie Dawn Air. It's
Same thing
awesome.
with the tomatoes, man. If you go there, and I always tell people, make sure you like if you got a small appetite, get the small, right? If you're
Yeah.
hungry, get the
Or you
medium.
plan for a lunch tomorrow.
Never get the large. The large
Yeah.
is like that. It's a
And the
football,
rice, I don't know
right?
what they do with their rice, but it's
Yeah,
like,
it's
you know, I've never been excited to have like rice. I'm like, this
Yeah,
is
and if you get double chicken,
Yeah.
like if you get double chicken over there from Prairie Dawn Air, like if you get one of their whatever
Yeah.
they call it, like the rice bowl, that's what I get, the rice
Yeah.
bowl, and then
Yeah.
with double chicken, like that's pretty damn healthy meal right there. Like that, if
Mhm.
you're on the road and it's affordable, because
Yeah,
to eat,
it is.
yeah, like because like for good fast food nowadays, you're looking at like 15, 20 bucks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want a good decent meal in a restaurant, you're looking at like 30 bucks. Right, sit down,
At
sort of.
least 30
I think it's
bucks.
so expensive. What about McDonald's? When was the last time you went to McDonald's and spent less than 10 bucks?
Yeah, no kidding.
Last night.
No way. Did you buy like a coffee?
I'm serious. We did a radio show, and then we're like, we got to go to the casino. And by the time you know, it's like you don't want to eat too much before you go on stage or do anything.
Yeah.
So then I was like, at the end of the day, and Jen's pretty healthy with her eating, but she's like, I want McDonald's fries now. And so we get through, and I'm like, oh man, the McRib is back. So I did the McRib last night. Not gonna lie, it's as good as I remember.
Right.
10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, okay. So speaking of that, do you remember McPizza?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh!
Yes.
So
It was
good.
good.
So good.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
And they discontinued it, I think. I know I was living in Winnipeg at the time, and Winnipeg, for some reason in Canada, Winnipeg was like a test market for so many
Yeah.
restaurants, right? And
Totally.
so they would bring, I remember McPizza first came and they had delivery in Winnipeg for a short while. And I remember
Wow.
having just like, there's a choice with like pepperoni, you know, or mushroom and, you know, whatever. That was the, you know,
Yeah. There's two.
Yeah.
but it was good.
Yeah, it was pretty decent, man.
Yeah. And speaking of the Winnipeg thing where there's a Regina tie, what about Perkins? Did you know that there's no more Perkins in Winnipeg? And there used to be a Perkins on. Yeah, didn't there used to be like a half dozen Perkins?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what I remember about Winnipeg was Salisbury House. If you remember.
Salisbury
Yeah.
House.
They still have
Yes.
lots of
Salisbury House,
Salisbury.
that was where you go. They're always open late. You're a student, right? You could
Yeah.
get like a bowl of beef barley soup at 2 a.m. with,
Yeah,
with a roast
and
beef.
good
Actually, have you been
Good
there
breakfast.
lately?
No,
Oh,
I haven't
dude.
been in Winnipeg.
Remember
in a while.
how like the Sal's would be like a diner style, you know what I mean? Kind of like a
Yeah, like almost like I don't want to say a truck stop diner.
kind of
but
like a truck stop diner
Yes,
is kind of
like
what it felt like, right?
Like Wilco
But now
Zellers.
they've been actually like renovating these Salisbury's houses. Like I was just there not too long ago, and we went to go check out. I'm like, dude, you got to go to Sal's. Every time I come to Winnipeg, I have to go to Sal's because you're not going to get that anywhere else.
No.
It's a franchise, a chain that's only in Winnipeg, and it's stupid good. It's stupid good, and it's relatively affordable, right?
And
but
good
now the Sal's are actually like restaurants. When you go in, you feel like a restaurant. It doesn't feel like a, like a dank truck stop diner that you're
Mel's
walking
Diner.
into.
It should feel. I want Flo to come ask me, like, to tell me to kiss her grits.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that?
The coffee, they keep bringing the coffee around.
Yeah.
It makes you feel comfortable if you were like, 19 years old. You just hit up the Palladium and you're like 2 a.m. And so it's like you could get a steak, a $5 steak.
You could go get like 5 pancakes and a milkshake.
One of those diners, the coffee cup is like a shooter, right? Like every time they come by, you got to hold it up and use. Yeah. Or hey, when you're speaking about like restaurants changing their style and upgrading stuff like that, kind of reminds me of like when McDonald's got fireplaces.
Yeah, why?
Next level. We got fireplaces.
Yeah,
and the cafe.
Big Mac stuff all over your face. I love you guys. With fire in the background.
In the fireplace. No, but they got the fireplace, and then they got the McCafe. They upgraded their coffee to compete with Tim Hortons. They did actually repackage pretty cool at that time, but I'm still not a big fan of not being able to eat there for less than like $20.
Yeah. I can't remember. We did last night fries, McRib, and a grilled chicken. I don't know what it is. $20, $30, $25 or something like that. So
crazy.
Yeah, no, it's not cheap anymore over there. Like I
nothing
forget what it was.
No.
Like the other day, I went for myself and a coworker, went to Wendy's, and like we just had a couple burgers and 1 fries and a drink, and that's it. And it came up to like $30 at Wendy's. And I was like, what? Yeah. Can you read that back to me? Because I thought she was trying to add more stuff to it, right? And no, it's $30.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad though when you think about like if you had to go buy the groceries and cook it yourself, wouldn't be that much less.
This is the balancing act we're playing now. Like, it's at the point now too where you're always smart when you're grocery shopping, but I never caught myself looking more. You know what I mean? Like, what's the price of this steak?
Yes.
We're gonna just do pasta this week. You gotta be smart when you're grocery shopping now.
Yeah, man. Especially with steaks.
Yeah,
like I remember back in the day.
We found a deal one time where they had a bunch of chicken breasts on sale, and I only caught it because I could see this lady like bang another box, bang on top of her shopping cart. We're like, what's going on? Before we get there, it's like a mob for these frozen chicken breasts. So. Yeah,
it's not cheap nowadays. Everything's pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it takes long. It takes long if they have to get it in from someplace else. Because everything takes long to ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's just the way it is. But I think, it looks like we have an ad popping up, and we're gonna have to.
This commercial.
We have a sponsor. Guys, I'm so excited. We have a sponsor for today's show. We got a sponsor for the podcast now, and I told the dude,
these lights.
Yeah, you got to pay for this hat. This beaded hat doesn't pay for itself, right?
And your Donaire shirt.
my Donaire shirts, right?
It's honor. Okay.
Yes, it's honor. And with that, let's turn over to our sponsor for today's show.
This podcast is sponsored by Chief's Garlic. Never go far for good gar.
For good gar.
Never go far for good gar.
Did you use an AI voice on that one?
I am Waving Star, and I've got the gar.
That's an AI voice. Yeah.
It's like that creepy girl computer voice. Do you want to do another test? Yeah.
So we got the Chiefs franchises now, sponsoring our show.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Chiefs one-stop love shop. We got Chiefs Insurance. Chief was running everything back on Broken Elbow.
Chiefs Chief's Chinese food.
He's got everything, right? He's got all these gigs.
And I think I seen that one where it was Chief's fried chicken.
Oh, I remember that one. I
What
needed a
about
shower after we filmed that commercial back in the day.
Oh, I should find that
Remember,
actually.
I had to like, I'm in a robe, a bathrobe with this hat on, and I got the fried chicken, and they're just pouring gravy on me while I'm just
On
rubbing
his
it on my face.
face,
oh
dude.
You
no.
can feel your
It's
skin. Something was
Oh, I
happening.
bet. I
Next
hope you
thing
got it in one take.
it was a couple takes. Actually,
Oh,
last show, Sean, I was telling him about the 1-800 snag a squatch when we were downstairs in Keon, and it's just me, you, and Keon,
snag a
That's right.
squats.
and you were in the Sasquatch suit rolling around on a bed, and I'm
I had
behind
a
the
bra
camera.
and stuff.
Sasquatch.
And then after it was done, we just like all felt a little bit of shame.
You know what the most shame was?
You got all quiet.
Three of us guys going into Walmart trying to find these extra size pink lingerie panties and stuff. This three guys.
Why?
Really clear for the costume, right? I'm like, you go, Keon, you go pay.
Just a big giant panty, man.
You're paying
Yeah,
for it
the
with your
big
bank
suit
card.
on, and the bra's going to go around me, and then Keon, I think, was dressed up one time in the
Very
bush
funny.
walking around or something.
It's not
I don't
scanning.
remember.
Big panty's not scanning. She like has to hold it up and look for the
Yeah.
number and type in the number manually. Getting that thing like trying to scan it.
Built a little corn set down.
Yeah, you might want to take that one through the self checkout.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because my kids are older now. They've grown up, and so they have girlfriends. One's married, another one's engaged. Like, it's crazy. And so there's some of their girlfriends were over, and they're like, they saw a poster I still have in the house of Bannock Boys, and it's got some of our old clippings and stuff. What's that? It's like, oh, I'll show you. So we watched an episode. Well, they howled. One of the things they saw was, I don't even know if we could do this today, to be honest, what we did. It was the
No.
child containment unit.
Yeah.
It was a
No, we
place
can't.
like we filmed that.
Yeah.
that is.
We
And our
filmed that
kids were the ones that, if you're too tired, put your kids in the cage. That was a commercial we were at.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious, eh? Just to think, look how much times have changed. Like
I know.
that would never make it.
Oh, well, you know what?
Comedy, right? It's comedy.
It's comedy,
That's
and
right.
you
that's
know,
right.
part of it is that we all the world had its time to be sensitive. There you go. We heard
Yeah.
ya. We heard your feelings. Now,
Yeah.
can we get back to business now? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, don't go making dumb stuff for the sake of making dumb stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
hateful stuff, I get.
Yeah.
But
Right.
everything is right for the picking to make fun of. Like,
Yeah.
that's how you.
Yeah.
That's what comedy is. If you start to put shackles on that, you know what's going to happen. They're going
Yeah.
to do big middle fingers and say, "Watch this." Which that
Yeah.
we saw. Look what happened
Yeah.
to Chappelle. Right?
Yeah, you can't domesticate it, right? Yeah, because even I can see that. Like, just as a performer, I'm not a long time comedian at all, but I could see that Chappelle, he's like very like there's not a lot there. Like he's just very corporate and very like a TED talk. When you want like
Mhm.
right,
Mhm.
you know, he's just up there giving
Oh
a
yeah.
lecture.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
No. And that's exactly the point, right? Is that like when does that come to an end? You know, when are we allowed to actually, go and
Yeah,
be
I don't
able
know.
to just keep doing funny stuff because it's funny, right?
I don't know, man. Dude, screenshots with that because that's screwing so many people over. Like whether you're joking or not, it's just like
Yeah.
look what
Yeah.
Corey said. Like they don't know any context of what was going on or what you're joking about or anything, but
Yeah.
you said this joke, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
take one
Right.
little piece, it can be something else, right? If you don't have the context of what was before and after. I mean, I
Yeah.
agree that if it's hate talk, you be smart, right? Like, don't be an idiot. But I find it's funny too, like when people are doing this kind of comedy, the way they're doing it, and then some people will cancel them. It's almost like you're trading one audience for another audience. It's like it grows. Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's what it is,
it's
for
weird.
sure.
and actually part of it too is that I found that the more people I don't want to say whined and cried, but I'm gonna say, like the more people were getting upset with comedy, the more traction that particular comedy had, and
Yeah.
the more the
Always.
fans of that style of comedy completely dug their feet in. So
Always.
that you're always gonna be at a stalemate,
Yeah, that's not a new
and
thing, though. That's not a new
no,
thing. Rock and
no,
roll used to be exactly like that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, Elvis,
yeah,
make sure you show them from the waist up. That's too much for the people to handle, right?
yeah.
Taking a
You got to be a real stud for like a bunch of corporate guys to be sitting at a table and say, okay, it's probably best if we only film him from the waist up. Okay,
Yeah.
we don't want it. We don't want
He's
all the
going to
women
shake his junk.
like
The women are going to go nuts. What will
they're going to
happen
go
to our
crazy
country?
and things will happen. Families will have fights. There will be separations, all sorts of social problems because of this one guy. We can't show him from the waist down.
Yeah.
But it's comedy, right?
But it's comedy, yeah. But it's
And
comedy.
speaking of which, you want to do a flashback. You want to do a really old
right.
flashback.
Is it
Sean,
time
you're
for
gonna
that?
Sean, this is in honor of you, bro.
Oh
I
my
love you,
God.
bro. I've
I don't know
missed
what
you.
this is. Okay.
And every time I think of you, this is what I think about.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached that part of the show that we refer to as Throwback Thursday. So right now it's Thursday and we're going to throw it back.
Just thinking of you sends shivers down my spine. Your brown skin. I just wanna taste you, eat you up. So juicy. And I'm hungry. Let's take this slow. Your meaty breast, your curvy thigh. White, dark, it don't matter.
Oh, man.
Love your fried chicken tonight.
Now
Look how
available
greasy
in
his
original
face.
or Bionic Crispy.
There it is. Cheap fried
Bro,
chicken right out
Oh,
loud.
man.
that's still one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen in my life, man.
Is your
Try
face
to film that,
yet?
remember?
Is your face clean yet? Like, or do you still feel greasy when you watch that?
I don't watch it. I
Only Corey does.
And I remember
Yeah.
too, they're like, just look
I
at
went to
romantic.
5
I
years
look
of
romantic,
therapy
like,
to get that out of me.
down my eye, and I could feel it going in my eye. And they're like, Corey's like, oh, just look romantic off to the left.
Yes. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Throwback Thursday. And right there
Oh,
is where
man.
we should have that round of applause. You
Oh,
need to
yeah,
get that
my-
sound effect of a round of applause.
Yeah, I got to get my sound effects back, and for some reason it's not working. I don't know why.
We're going to get it going.
The best
Yeah.
is where you have the sound effect of the crowd laughing, and it just stops around. Like,
Yeah, perfect. Just cut it right off.
just a hard cut right there.
Yes, it's perfect.
Yeah, no. Oh man,
So that was the pilot.
that was from the pilot, and actually, I've opted to not put the pilot out in its entirety because there is stuff in there that was funny at the time.
Yeah.
Put it that way. It
Yeah,
was funny
man.
at the time. I don't think it like
Yeah.
you know. There really is some things where it's like, oh, oof, that's cringy, man. That it's funny. Don't get me wrong, it's funny. It's like when you go back and watch Eddie Murphy Delirious. Like it's one of the best stand-ups you'll ever see in your life. The funniest stand-ups, but then when you go back and watch it after not watching it for like 20 years,
Yeah.
it's what is this?
Well, I have
Right,
to
it's
tell
not
you- I
so
have to
funny
tell
anymore,
you,
right?
The family
No.
was like, my kids were like, when Res Kids came up, because we had puppets made of ourselves.
Yeah.
And the puppets, like you could say anything with a puppet and no one cared. But it was just us saying it, man. It wouldn't have worked. Like, and they're like, wow, like you actually said that. Yeah.
I forgot I said that.
Ed the Sock from Much Music.
Oh, he was tame compared to our puppets.
Yeah,
Our puppets are rough, dude.
Or we
They're
even
rough.
sang the jingle, Res Kids. It was
Yeah.
like fun and learning on Res Kids.
Join fun and learning with Res Kids. Da, da,
What's
da,
your
da, da,
voice?
da.
Yeah.
What does your dad do? My dad's a cop. What does
Yeah.
your dad do? Mine's a lawyer. What does your dad do? 8 to 10.
Fuck. Sorry for the F bomb, everybody out there. I'm sorry. We'll time that. Time out. That was a
Oh
mistake.
man, I've already dropped a few of them. I was so excited
It's
that
hard
that
not to
intro
sometimes.
that intro, bro. That intro.
Yeah, it gets me going, man.
Just yeah, I get so hyped up. And I was all
Gets some
excited, and I seen Sean on a bus today too, and I'm like, hey, right, oh man, it's meant to be.
Yeah, you're talking about the ad there. I thought you meant like you literally ran into him on the bus, like, oh hey Sean, and you guys just had a visit, like sat
I
beside
want
each
to get
other.
on the bus where I'm on. That's what I want. That's my dream. I want to be on the bus with my face on it while I'm getting
So
ding
that
ding
people,
somewhere.
yeah. So you probably recognize me from the bus, right? Like
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
that guy.
I'm that guy.
yeah. Oh, I was talking with a old producer from the old days, right? So I'm back on social media now. It's probably no secret, and that type of thing. So I'm getting out there. So people are starting to reach out, like, "Oh, hey, you're back. I haven't seen you in a long time," and that type of thing, right? So I was talking with an old producer, and guess what we were talking about? She was actually sitting on the board of the Saskatchewan Motion Picture Industry Association. And she was one of the people that highly recommended the Bionic Bannock boys to come in and host the Simpy Awards. Right. And I found those old videos, like these old drives. They're like these old drives are old, man. They're old, right? So I'm digging old stuff out of these things. Here, I'll check it out. Look at this. Like this drive right here.
Yeah,
Not sure if you can see that.
Yeah.
man, you need to find the old cords. You need to have all the guys have a
Yeah,
box of cords somewhere, right?
that's
And
called Firewire.
yeah,
And nowhere on any computers don't even have that anymore, right?
Of course not.
So
Of course
like
not.
I think I'm on like the fourth iteration of computers now where I haven't used a Firewire in probably 6 years, 7
Yeah.
years,
Might as well get a
you know?
VCR.
Yeah, might as well, right?
I remember actually filming a bit where that was kind of how I was introduced to the Bannock boys, and you guys had filmed it. So before we came out to MC it, it was like a video played of, I think it was Keon getting you from the bingo hall to
Yeah.
come. Like, we got to go and host the awards, and it shows me you just picked me up on the side of the road,
Yeah.
and I think you said,
Yeah.
"Come on in." And I remember, like, I think he said, "Do you know any jokes?" And I said, "No." Oh wait, I know a joke. These two Indians, they walk in, and then it cuts to them, and they're just looking at me like they're gonna kill me. It goes back to me, it's like, I don't know any jokes. We walk out on stage. I think that was the intro video when we walked out on stage.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. No, it was an intro video because we were actually talking about how we're going to, oh yeah, we got to go and host these awards, and we didn't come out on stage yet, right?
Yeah.
So the intro video intros us coming out on stage,
Yeah.
and at the time, it's like, oh, you want us? Are you sure about that? Like, are you 100% sure that you want us at your show? Do you know who we are? Right. And it's like, yes, yeah, and oh yeah, definitely. Like they're totally into it until we get there and start doing our thing, right? And when we start doing our thing and they realize, well, these guys are kind of rowdy. You know what I mean? Because we were back then. We were pretty rowdy. And most of our shows, like what I was saying, we would pull out vibrators, and put it on a microphone and just let the
Corey did
vibrator.
that. I never did that. Corey did that.
Indians love that, man. Like at first they'd start giggling, and then like within probably 10, 15, 20 seconds, the whole room would just be laughing because
Right. That's just
like
ridiculous.
Indians are relatively pretty modest in larger crowds, that
Yeah.
when they're doing things. So when you pull out a vibrator with a hook on it, I might add, because this vibrator had a hook on it.
I don't think it was.
For what?
Well,
What is the hook for?
I don't know what it was for, man. You use your imagination, I guess.
I don't remember.
Oh.
There is a blue one, and it had like a hook on it, right? And it's like, and I pulled out this other one because when we filmed Chief's One Stop Love Shop, over at the Love Shop. It's a family affair, by the way. So like the son and the mother and the father, they were all proud and having us there and that type of thing. And the mother was actually showing us her vintage
Vibrators.
vibrators. Yeah,
You
she's
could have
got
said
a
a lot of
whole.
things right there that would have just totally broke the internet.
The best
She's
part
got
of
a
that
whole.
scene was the whole thing was censored. You know, the blur. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
shows him in the middle of the store and everything's just blurred around him. You couldn't see anything.
So
Yeah, it's
then,
like that background, that like Microsoft Teams background where everything's just blurred in the background.
Yeah, it was all just blurred, everything.
yeah. So then
I
she
know it.
pulls out this vibrator, like this older lady, right? Pulls out this vibrator, and she goes, "What do you think this is?" And I'm like, "That obviously looks like a very long vibrator to me." You know what I mean? And she said, "No, actually, it's a neck massager." I'm like, "What?"
That's how the Sears catalog used to sell them. Neck
Yeah.
massager, remember?
Yeah.
Back in
Really?
the workbook?
Yeah.
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 They
Yeah.
just call them a neck
Wow.
massager with 3
Right.
speed, you know,
Right. And you could just sell it. You could just sell it like that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
over a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, it's just a neck massager. Right.
Yeah,
Your
it's just a
neck's
neck
like vibrates.
massager. Like, what do you
Yeah.
think it is, right? It's like, well,
Yeah.
it to me, it looks like a,
Yeah. It's a neck massager. That's what it looked like.
so then I would bring that to the shows, right? And I turn it on. Who could tell me what this is? Or like I'd pull it out, right? Who could tell me what this is? Guess what this is, right? And people would be, like Indians, stuff like that. They'd be giggling around. And then someone, that's a dildo, that's a vibrator, they'd yell out. And I'm like, no, you're all wrong. It's actually a neck massager.
Yeah.
and I tell my story, right?
Start rubbing your neck.
Yeah. And then I'd pull out the one with the hook because it looks so freaking odd, right? Like it's got a hook, man, and I was like, who could tell me what this is, right? And people would be, I don't know, is that does that massage your head or something? What, is it for your muscles? I'm like, no, man.
Yeah, no.
Nope.
This is for what you think it's for,
Yep.
and if you can't think for what it's for, you need to expand your imagination a little bit, because I'm not sure I want to tell you.
Yeah, you know what? Try doing that at the Queensberry Downs in front of the corporate crowd while they're eating their chicken and their corporate dinner, and you're up there with your vibrator rubbing it on the back of your neck. How's that going to go now?
Well, one of the shows that we used to do, we did a couple shows. Remember this, Sean? Some of the wildest audiences that we had were librarians.
Yeah, I'm like, how?
Remember?
Gig?
What?
Yeah, I don't know. They just reached out. Remember that?
Yeah.
And we actually did librarians one year, and then we did the librarians again the next year. And when they called me, I'm like, oh yeah, and I'm thinking librarians, so I'm, tell them the type of shows we do. It's mostly Aboriginal humor or Indigenous comedy and that type of thing. We have a safe show, which is more so for like kids and families. We have, a little bit risque when you have teenagers and you have, that type of crowd with no kids present. And we have an adult show, which is our main. Is our main show. We swear, we get pretty raunchy in that, and we get pretty rank. They wanted the raunchy show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who did?
They were totally into it.
Yeah.
Totally into it.
Where was this?
Queensberry Downs.
Queensberry. Yeah.
Serious?
Queensberry. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Queensberry Downs.
Yeah. No, they had one of the big galleries.
Old corporate conference for sure, man. It's a big old corporate conference.
Yeah, and you would never think that this crowd, right? Because you walk in there and they're librarians dressed up a little bit, right? And you would never think that they just love this raunchy humor that we're just chucking at them, and they loved it. They were participating. They were totally into it, right? Yeah, man, that was probably one of the best crowds that we had. Librarians,
Nice.
man.
Crazy.
Nice. Shout out to all the librarians out there that have showed up at some of these events in the past and have performed well.
Oh, I know those librarians are crazy. I know they're a little crazy out there.
I still like the shows we do in the small little bars. You have that tiny little stage and you make it work, but those ones are always so close to the people, right? So I don't know, it always.
Well, you could have the best audience interaction, right? Because
it was totally fun.
It was totally fun, and part of that too was that our shows were really formal. We had curtains and lights and sound, and we had sound cues and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so it was quite formal, right?
Yeah.
Even though the humor that we were doing, most of it, we knew what our beats were and what the general story is and the particular jokes you have to hit, right? So those are called beats. As long as you get your jokes and you keep on task, here's the beginning, here's the end. Go hard with everything else, right? So if a skit, say like for example, Cooking with Nietzsche's, if the Cooking with Nietzsche's was going really well and the crowd was loving it, me and Keon would just play with that. We
Going.
just keep going, we just keep going, we just keep going, because the
If
crowd's
it's
just
there,
having
it's
such
there.
a
Yeah.
good time. If
Yeah.
it's a skit that we know is they're not loving it, end it, just
Take
end
it
it,
home. Yeah,
get
take
to
it
the
home.
point, finish it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it home. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
as a wrestler, you know.
Same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
same
know.
thing. Yeah, same thing. There's no need to go do a bunch of body slams and jumping off the top rope if the crowd is there while you're working a headlock. Stay in the headlock.
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing, man. Exactly the same thing. Fellas, we are now past three quarters of an hour, and you know what that means? We are down to our final thoughts for the week. Sean,
Hmm.
give me your final thoughts.
On what? Okay, this is my final
Any
thought.
thoughts?
This is
Any
story
thoughts?
because I still talk about this with you guys because you guys screwed me over. So when you're talking about going backstage and doing this stuff, right? What we would do sometimes, like Cooking with Nietzsche's, for example, I would have to do something by myself for a couple minutes and give costume changes. We kind of always would work it out where someone was always on stage doing something. And so I was new, like relative, like maybe the third show or second show I did with you guys.
I think I know which one you're talking about, and
Yeah,
it was
and
your very first show.
Yeah, and I had this thing I would do, like a quick little stand-up bit about like why white women don't get what native girls know, and it was funny. And I did the Ween to Guy thing. I got my Aboriginal nickname, Strong Tree, and so we would do things like that. But on the way down, I'm telling these guys because they just had a vasectomy the week before.
Ooh,
I'm telling them the story in the
Yeah.
car in the truck ride, and
Yeah.
we're killing ourselves laughing. And then I go on stage. Just before I go on stage, it was you, Corey, you laugher. So he comes to me. He's like, don't do the Windy guy. Don't do the white girls thing. He says, do the vasectomy story.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, well, I haven't really thought it out. He goes, just the way you told. It's hilarious. So I go out and I die on there. It's like dead. No one's laughing. Who has vasectomy? Like nobody knows what I'm talking about. And then I look backstage and there's Keon and Corey going like this. And so I had to turn it around, and thankfully the only thing that said, I think it was a test, because then I turned it around. I said, "What? Does no one here have a vasectomy? No one. No one's putting up their hand.
No one.
And some
It's
guy-
like a pure Indian crowd. Most of these Indians
Like,
are
he
from
needs one.
Cody's.
And I said, "Wow,
right?
how many kids you got? 4." I'm like, "Okay, vasectomy. Let's talk vasectomy." So I kind of changed on the fly, but
See,
that
like
was
this.
nerve-wracking.
Oh, but the way he told the story on the drive there was so funny. He's like, yeah, and he just like freezes you, and you don't know if he's grabbing your junk. All of a sudden, you see smoke coming up. And I'm like,
It works. They cauterize you.
I
Yeah.
smelled it. I smelled my burning balls, right? And it was so funny, man. And we are just cracking up, hey? And we're like, dude, you got to do that, right? So we got to the show, and
whoever that woman was, I owe her my life because she saved me. She goes, he needs a vasectomy. She points to her boyfriend, her husband.
yeah,
She's like, how many kids you got? 4. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I owe you one.
Yeah, this guy needs
and actually after that show, remember that when we got together for writing thing, and he was like, I don't know, guys, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I don't think this is for me. It's like you had one bomb, man. We all had bombs.
Yeah, you
It
gotta have
happens.
one. You
It
gotta have
happens.
one. You gotta know what that feels like because you never want to go back there again.
No, you don't.
Wait,
No.
have you ever had that in the wrestling? Like you bomb,
Oh
is
yeah,
there a
oh,
match?
yeah.
It happens where you're like,
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, sometimes they just don't care. Like no matter what you do, they just kind of don't care or whatever. So
Yeah.
the key right there is to not try harder and just okay. Well, I'll wrestle faster. I'll do more moves because they're not. Now, honestly, the key right there is to kind of just settle in and slow down till you find something.
Okay.
And that's all it is. It becomes a psychology game right there. Hey.
Yeah, well, I guess it's the same thing. It's you and another person, or stand-up comedy, man. It's just you. Like,
Right,
there's no
right,
band, there's no nothing. Like when you're naked and alone up there. Like
right,
comedy,
right, right,
stand-up's still the hardest thing I think I've ever done.
right.
It's scary.
But at the same time, you've got yourself. There's nobody else that can mess it up. Because sometimes you could be trying to work with somebody and trying to work towards something, and
Mm,
they're not on the same page, and they don't see what you're trying to do, and they just screw it all up.
yeah,
So that can also happen, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
hopefully not as much. Hopefully not as much. Corey, give us a final thought.
Final thoughts are you got to make sure to check out Tricksters on all the sacred socials:
The sacred
Facebook,
socials.
Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Especially if you get on TikTok, we have a lot of really cool stuff out there. And that's where you're going to get the freshest of the freshest in terms of Tricksters comedy. It comes out on TikTok. So right now, I'm actually running a lot of
Yeah.
Cree stuff. So a lot of the old skits that we did, we actually had them all translated into Cree, and I'm not even kidding. There's probably about 90 some skits all in Cree. So
Incredible.
I'm gonna Creeify TikTok with this. And the cool thing is that it's taking the language outside of the classroom context. So you're not gonna get best to go, stand up. You're not gonna get epi, sit down. Like the commands. You're not gonna get the one word phrases. You're gonna get how people use the language within that particular context, and you're going to have a lot of fun with it. And right now we have paranormal investigative mobile patrol services, aka pimps, on
Nice.
TikTok right now. We're going through that cycle, so make sure you check that out, and also make sure you get onto YouTube to subscribe, because all of this stuff ends up there.
That is awesome. And friends and relatives, that brings us to another show, to the end of another show. And we'd like to thank everybody that was here with us this time. We'll see you the next time when it is time. However, in the meantime and in between time, that's it. Another edition of Thursday Night Live with Tricksters Comedy. Bye bye now.